What pliers am I using? I'm using 432 Zerons. 430. I'd have to look up the specific model number, but they look like that. They work well enough for this. All right. Perfect. That popped up right away. Share. All right. Go back over here. Sean White has shared your stream. All right. And then we'll change the camera angle. We'll get to work. How are you? 9 was T2 West 9 ways 2. 9 ways. I love usernames. I get some of the greatest usernames I've ever seen popping up in my likes. And these people are a lot braver than me. They have some risque usernames. And I'm like, there's no way I could ever go by, you know, like downward facing dog or whatever. Vicarin, Jeep and Jammer just popped to say hi real quick. Back on in 15 minutes. All right, we'll see you then. Thanks for stopping in to say hi. All right. But yeah, there are some very creative usernames out there. My username is just my business name. It's a combination of mail as in chainmail and works as in like production. But it sounds like a male strip club, like Hard Bodies. And so when people ask me, you know, what I do, I really talk about chainmail. Where did that ring go? It just disappeared, didn't it? All right. It's okay, it happens. I vacuumed in here, and I got several rings the other day. So we're working on layer 8 of this Jellycube. I want to get this shadow off of my head. And once we have this layer that I'm working on, and then one more row, and it'll be an 8x8x8 cube. I'm gonna weigh it to see if we can figure out how many rings it is. It won't be quite right, but it's as close as I can get without. There is a calculation to figuring out how many rings are in a Jellycube, but I don't have it written down. I would have to go searching for it, and I think that it would take me too long to search for that, whereas I know where the weight for the approximate weight of each titanium ring would be. So that'll be faster, and we can get a rough idea. It's getting heavy, that's for sure. Titanium's what, 1/3 the weight of steel? Wow, that ring is not gonna work. So if this were steel, we'd be dealing with a much heavier cube. I think this is getting close to where the bronze and brass rings that I used for the interwoven Jellycubes. It weighs about as much as one of those. It's a lot denser, little larger at this point. But those cubes had spaces in them removed so that they could join together. So they had a lot of mass removed, whereas this is a solid cube. All right. I did get some work done on this today, just kind of been hanging out at the house. I was supposed to go to a trap shoot and shoot some clay pigeons, but I was told it was next weekend. So we missed out on that, but we just sat around the house and chilled. Had breakfast for dinner. And in between all of that, I was down here working on this cube. How's everyone doing tonight? What are you guys up to? I did spend a lot of time just staring at my phone this morning. Didn't want to wake up. So I did. Got the lawn done on Friday. Got the house cleaned yesterday. So I just wanted to relax today. We're getting somewhere. I think I have enough. These rings are the anodized titanium rings that I've been using, and I think I have enough here to make this a 9x9x9 cube, but I'm not 100% certain. So we'll get close, and then I got these unanodized titanium rings that we'll use for. We'll use those on this cube as well. Pretty decent just knitting. That's good. Getting something done. I'll do a little update video after this for the old TikTok. Once I'm done here. I've got this row I'm working on now and one more row. And it'll be even on all sides at that point. And I think we can probably, if I'm eyeballing things correctly, right? Just looking at the number of rings I have on hand and the number of rings available, I'm thinking that this might end up a 10x10x10 or an 11x11x11 ring cube by the time we're done, which is not insignificant. It's a pretty large number of rings at that point. I think like 10,000. I know the brass and bronze interwoven jelly cubes took me 8 days. And it was 8 days straight. I was working for several hours every day, like 7-8 hours a day on those. And so it only ended up being about 7,000 rings for those two cubes to be joined together, and took me 8 days. And this is taking longer than that. But it's the same style where every ring is doubled. Come on. So it's just a lot of rings. I'm just glad that I'm able to use them up. I have found a little machine that you need to anodize it. Check something here. Yeah, we're good. And it's not that expensive. It's only about 70 bucks, which was cheaper than what I was thinking it was going to be. So I'm going to grab one of those once I have enough pennies put together. And once we have all the rings assembled, we'll try and anodize it. Now the issue is that these rings have been anodized before, and so it's going to take a lot of power to get them to anodize beyond the point at which they have already been anodized. I have a variety of colors here, and I think the greens take the most power. If I remember correctly, green takes a lot of power to get. So if I turn everything green, it should all match up, theoretically. But I've never done this before, and it's just an experiment that we get to do together. It'll be loads of fun. There is a guy, there are several people I can ask if I need help. I have one friend who has reached out and offered a plethora of advice. Oh, where's my music? What's going on here? Can you guys hear music? I thought I turned it on, but I did not. There we go. So where was I? Something about something. Anodizing. Okay, the little Jellycube you made a while back is just 5x5x5, and your rings are also doubled up like yours are. Nice. You cannot hear music. How about now? It was not playing. That is why you cannot hear it. But we got the stream up and shared to all the right places, and it doesn't seem to be, knock on wood, doing anything bad so far. So you're not sure why you're not hearing any music? So you're going to, oh, it's like turned down. It was at like 30%. So I'm going to turn it up to 60. If we don't have music, that's going to suck, but that'll have to be something I figure out. You can hear me just fine? That's good. This little microphone that I have that was gifted to me has worked pretty well. I do want to upgrade it like I've upgraded everything else, but I don't really know what I need. I'm in way over my head when it comes to this streaming stuff. So, like, barely literate. And I've just kind of struggled along. So whenever we have, like, my face on your screen, we've had a success. We did a success. Right? So it makes me happy. All right, let's see here. Yes, hooray for gifts. It's actually really what... okay, we're not listening to listen to waltzing flutes. I wonder why that's not working for you guys. Yeah. Like, I can hear it on my computer. Okay, I will take a look at that later and try and figure out why my music isn't going through Streamlabs to the outside world. But honestly, Pretzel Rock is okay. It's not anything to write home about. You're not missing out on much, but I am grateful for it, so it's something. Come on. Here we go. Alrighty. Oh, I was talking about titanium and getting the anodizer and the collecting all the information I need. I was going to attempt to do this with like strung together 9-volt batteries. That was my plan. I was going to do it outside, and what has been explained to me, Jeep and Jamber has returned. What has been explained to me is that the surface area will require a lot of power to anodize the whole cube. And that is going to cause the batteries to heat up, which in turn can cause them to explode. So I've been advised against stringing together a bunch of 9 volts, even if I do it outside. Not a terrible idea, however. Once I found the price for the little anodizer, it's only like $70. You can go as high as you want, but you don't need to go beyond 70, really. So once I found that price, I was like, all right, let's go ahead and just grab useful, because I'll be able to use it down here with the rest of my tools, and I will definitely have future projects for it. So no real issue. Do a motorcycle battery. That'd be fun. That would work better than the 9 volts. I actually need to go check on my motorcycle battery. I bought a battery at the beginning of the summer. Got an oil change, got my tires pumped up, and I did not go riding once this summer. So I'm going to get the saddlebags off and work on the saddlebag project this winter. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I'll just take the bike out and go for a ride and say, screw it. Let's slack off the whole day, not get any work done. I think that's okay. Sadness for no rides? Yeah, for real. So I didn't ride this summer. I missed the trap shoot, but that's okay. I did a lot of other things that were just different things. Like we went to the Dells. Ow. I went bike riding with my kid, bicycle riding. I just didn't get the bike out. I'm not that worried about it. My last big ride was to Colorado 2 years ago. And that was fun, but that was a long ride. Was it 2 years ago? Yeah, it was about 2 years ago now. Weather was perfect the whole way. Had a great time. So there is a sound. It's a TikTok sound, and if you know anything about the motorcycle community, they call each other brother a lot, and the sound is just a deep voiced group of men going, brother, 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 right? It's just a lot of brothers. So I should pull my bike out tomorrow and just make a video with that sound. Ow. See what the weather's like tomorrow. It was actually pretty nice today. Would have been nice to go shoot some shotguns. But like this morning, my son was on the phone with my nephew, and it only goes until like noon or 1. It was already 9, 10, something like that. So if you're gonna be out there, you want to get there when it starts and just go the whole time. And by the time I was made aware that it was this weekend and it had started, so I could go and scramble and try to get there to get a couple rounds in, but just not worth the energy at that point. So I stayed home and I worked on my cube, which is a worthy investment of my time. Alright, where are we at here? All those done. Some of these closures are atrocious, and I keep having to go back and fix what I see. I don't catch them all, but titanium's kind of tricky. It's very springy, so you'll think you have it closed, and then you'll go back and find it again, and it's halfway open. You're like, oh my gosh, I thought I was better at chainmail than this, but apparently not. So I'm not going to judge my work based off of this throwaway cube that I'm trying to turn into something somewhat nice. Yeah, it is quite tricky. Yeah. It's like you think you have it closed, and it's like, haha, no you don't. I'm open. Alright. And I keep finding them. I'm like I said, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Most of these projects are, I try to, don't get me wrong, I try to make them as nice as I can, but there's not like, I'm not selling this, right? This is gonna go on the ledge next to the windows where I have all the rest of my chainmail stuff. And so if it's not perfect, that's fine. It's not like my jewelry or something I would sell, right? However, I still try to do a good job. So I'm not worried about finding every single titanium ring that snuck its way open. Not as worried as I'd be if this were going to a customer. And it doesn't matter how good you think you are. Your closures, right? There's always going to be someone who criticizes them. Even if they're perfect. I guarantee that. Come on. Alright, where are we at here? I saw a really cool inlay the other day. It was a beer logo. So the person had the bottle of beer and they made a portion of the logo onto what looked like a really large inlay. It was in the, I think it was in the chainmail group over on the Book of Faces. So there's always a lot of really cool bracelets and jewelry that other mailers post on there. The bigger projects are few and far between, where I'd say it's probably rare to get anything over 1,000 rings, right? And not rare. Things over 1,000, chainmail items over 1,000 rings being posted on social media are less common than, say, jewelry. But they do exist. They do pop up. They're not rare. Rare is the wrong word. They're not as common. So there's always a lot of really nice jewelry and stuff. So it's always fun to see someone make a really cool inlay. I need to finish my inlay. And one of these days, we will get to it. I've got a slew of stuff to get done, but not last year, but the year before, I finished up the Raiders inlay. So this year I need to finish up the Finnegan's Wake inlay. You'd agree that, yeah, they're just not as common. I mean, it's 1,000 rings or more. Generally more. Generally lots of thousands of rings. So, and jewelry is just usually quicker to make and easier to be more fluid with your design on it. And I want to be careful in saying that is not to cheapen the quality of the jewelry that is being made. It's just, statement of fact. In general, jewelry uses less rings, fewer rings. Still takes a lot of work. But it pops up more. And there are plenty of people who make big projects, but the big projects just don't come across as often. So they're very nice to see, yeah. And easier to sell too. Selling stuff. Sales and marketing. Okay, I know you guys can't hear the music, but what I'm listening to right now, it's not good. So I'm gonna change it. Sorry if you can't hear it. I'll figure that out. And we'll do more streaming. Alright, for anyone following along on TikTok, how's the reception over there? We're still working with the equipment we had 2 nights ago, something like that. Nothing's changed. I have not looked into any further options of getting signal over in the corner. You can faintly hear the music. If I do that. Alright. I've turned it up. Maybe that's the only issue. Excuse me. Yeah, so I haven't changed any of the equipment configurations to get signal over here in this corner of the basement, but I was informed that it was working fairly well for other people, but it was not working well for me down here. So if you're viewing on TikTok, let me know if there's any lagging going on. All right. I do, in addition to the anodizer, it's not called an anodizer, it's a little electric thing that has a positive and a negative, and it helps you run a current through stuff, right? That's all it does. It just lets you control the voltage and the amplitude, and it's got sweet dials and comes with an on-off button, things like that, right? But all it is you're just running a electrical current through something. And people who are more proficient with electronics than me have wildly different uses for it than what I'm doing. Right, so it's not called an anodizer. I forget what it is, but that's what I'm going to be using it for. Right? And so, along with that, I had put a little finger band. I often, whenever my wrist starts hurting, you will see me doing this a lot. And sometimes it's with the hairband around the edges of my finger. And that's for whenever I'm starting to get that soreness in my wrist. So there's these bands that I have in my Amazon cart that I'm also going to purchase. And I'm going to put an Amazon link to them on the Mailworks app as well. That ring is way out of round. Because I find that of all the things that I do to help protect my hands and my wrist from carpal tunnel and irritation, I do wear a wrist brace. As you can, if I can put my hand in the center of the camera, the brace prevents 99% of any issues because it just prevents my wrist from bending the wrong way. Because a lot of times you'll be bending stuff, right, and you'll find like your wrists are like this as you're trying to bend a ring open, and like if you're here, right, like if you're like this trying to you're in the wrong position. So I keep the brace on when my wrist gets irritated, just to help prevent me from irritating it further. You have three different difficulties. That's the set that I'm gonna get, right? And I'd forgotten about them. I think my sister told me about them. And I have just been using a hair tie or a rubber band, and that has worked. But it comes like two sets of 3 or something. And man, just using what I have now helps tremendously, and I can weave better on the different materials of rings that I have. I can weave longer with the different materials I have, with minimal to no hand pain. And I think that it's what a lot of chainmail artists especially need to know about. So gotta get that, and I gotta get the anodizer, and then we'll be in business for this project. We don't need the bands for this project, but helps. You also use this weird donut looking thing to squeeze. Nice. It helps for your arthritic pain. There you go. Yeah. Untreatable pain is the worst, and so if you can use anything to help get rid of it. Like I take a lot of medication for my neck. So I have 2 dislocated vertebrae, 2 dislocated discs in my neck. They're out of place. They're in the wrong place. They're not supposed to be where they are. So I have a lot of back and neck pain. That's almost as good as the brands and the broths I can't even do it again on purpose. Back and neck pain. I have a lot of back and neck pain. And I used... I can't even say it intentionally. Bros and Brands, yeah. Oh, man. No, I have a lot of neck and back pain that I take a lot of medications for. So it is the worst when it's uncontrolled. If you can find anything to keep your pain under control, even if it is just a little donut to squeeze or a band to exercise with, use it. Back and neck. Yeah, my back and neck hurt. My back, my neck. I'm not going to finish those lyrics. What would it be though? My back, my neck, my micro-C, and my pack, or prac. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Had to finish it. Wow, what am I doing? Am I jumping rings? No, I'm not. Okay. Thought I skipped a ring there. Latest claims to fame of just wildly smashed up mishmashed words. I think you mean my neck, my back, my Netflix, and my snacks. Yeah, there you go. Using my back in order to get a prescription close enough that it didn't drive me crazy. The lag is 30 frames per second. Oh my gosh. What is going on? Is it happening over here? What's going on over in TikTok land? We lagging over here? I don't know what's going on. This seemed to happen the other day too, if I remember correctly. We will persevere. Or we won't. The stream will just shut down. But which may have happened. It's his bedtime. At least I hope he's in bed. He's got school in the morning. So okay. And you know, we'll try and get this done, but it is what it is. Until I can get to probably be spotty until then. So I apologize. This says I'm no longer live. Alright. I'm going to end the stream on Streamlabs, but TikTok, you can just hang out if you're chilling.